What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to talk about all the Smith & Wesson handguns that I own. Now one thing you'll notice if you're new to this channel is that these are all concealed carry oriented. That's because this channel focuses on self-defense, defending ourselves and our families, making it home at night to our families, with our families, and so on. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, let me know what you think about Smith & Wesson pistols. Also, let me know what you own, what you carry today, what kind of holster, what kind of defensive ammo. Put anything in the comments, it all helps. Just throw an emoji down there, doesn't matter. And then before we get started, I also want to mention these are Vetter pocket locker holsters, the best pocket holsters in the game. Shout out to Vetter. I carry them every single day at work, love them. Anyways, let's get started. Now don't click off the video just because this is a single stack and a 380. Hear me out first. This is Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield Easy. And by easy, literally everything about the firearm is easy. Racking the slide, dropping it with the slide stop, the grip safety, the trigger, the sights, even loading the mags is extremely easy. And it's friendly to hands that have been through some stuff. I used to play hockey, lacrosse, ride BMX, ride mountain bikes. On top of that, I shoot a lot, so I had double wrist surgery. This is what I carried for a year after double wrist surgery. And I was grateful that I had it in my collection. Also, because it's my mom's favorite firearm to shoot when we go to the range, she absolutely loves it. And that's because it's very easy on recoil, very easy on your hands, and I just didn't want to mess up my hands any further post-surgery while recovering and so on. So this is what I carried, and I absolutely loved it. On top of that, it's a great shooter, smooth shooter, and 9 rounds, in a larger package, very easy to handle the recoil and so on. But 9 rounds, you should be able to defend yourself quite well. Such a fast shooter, too. Then my work carry, the Smith & Wesson M&P 40 Shield. Now obviously I carry it with the flush mag, with the mag guts, so it's 7+1. I switched it over to 357 SIG, because you can now make your Shield 40 a 9mm, as well as 357 SIG using a conversion barrel. So I get 7+1 of 357 SIG, and why it's my work carry is one, after the parts are so easy to find for it, unlimited holster options, unlimited sight options, and on top of that, that finish is not going to wear out, it's not going to rust, even when it's exposed to moisture, dirt, grit, PVC shavings, plumbing, glue, and primer. I mean, literally, it gets everything on it, and it just runs. So it's been my work carry for about 2 months now. Absolutely love it. It has the power I need, even though it's only 8 rounds, small enough to carry everywhere, and so on. Then happens to be one of my favorite carry firearms in the world, the Shield Plus. Absolute beast. I mean, how can you beat it? This is 14 rounds in the setup, 13 round mag plus 1. Manual safety if you like it or not. I got the manual safety because it was cheaper. But amazing flat face trigger. I like this trigger better than the hinge triggers, even though the hinge triggers are good. I do feel like you can get caught on the hinge trigger if you're not low enough. So this trigger negates that. Absolute beast. I think you can find these still for under 400. And if you get it during the gear up session, you can get an extra 3 mags. So it'd be 5 mags plus this for under 400. Can you really beat the Shield Plus? Amazing shooting micro 9. Then here is one of those firearms I found used, $300. It's the Performance Center. It is the original Shield, so it's not the 2.0 or anything above that. It's the M&P 40 Shield, but Performance Center. So it's ported. Those ports really do help minimize recoil. You have 6 ports on a 40. So in this setup, you're getting, once again, 7+1 of 40 in a very slim, small package with awesome sights. Ergonomics are pretty decent. I wouldn't say they're the best, but they fit my hand pretty decent. A lot of people like the Shield's grip angle. I do as well. But overall, once again, I bought it used. It only had like a box of ammo through it. I've shot this more than the original owner, and I know that because I looked at the internals. I took it down before I bought it. Absolutely flawless. This thing's a great handgun. You can get the Shields, the original Shields, and the 2.0s for $300. I bought this for $300 on Palmetto State Armory. How can you beat that? It's the Shield system. They've been reliable, well tested for years and years now. Next up is one of my favorite handguns. I would say it's a sleeper handgun. You rarely see people with it. You rarely hear people talk about it, but this is the Subcompact 2.0. It has a 3.5 or 3.6 inch barrel, but it has the short grip. It's not like the newer one that has the longer grip. So this is a 12+1 setup. It's a little larger than your Glock 26, a little wider, a little heavier, but that heavy slide really helps with recoil. I would consider this like shooting a 380. The Smith & Wesson is just handle recoil like an absolute beast. The one thing I don't like about it, so I often buy firearms if they have a manual safety on them because you can get them for cheaper. A lot of people won't. So on my Shield Plus and my Shield 40 Performance Center, this is sort of like tucked away and hidden, and you're not going to accidentally bump it. It's also very stiff. The thing I don't like about the subcompact is this is just way too flimsy. So when you're shooting, if you have a high grip, which I don't, my thumb stays over here, but if you have a high grip, you're going to be locking yourself up with that safety. Not a big fan of the safety, but I am a big fan of the texturing, which you get out of the box. I think it was like $400, a little over $400. The overall recoil, fast follow-up shots. Once again, it does have the hinge trigger, but a great shooter for its size. Very easy to carry. Next up is probably my favorite handgun from Smith & Wesson. And this is an M&P 40C, not a 2.0 or anything. This is an older handgun. These were actually backups for law enforcement. And that's actually how I got this. I actually went to a Bass Pro Shop and there was like 30 of these sitting in the case. And I'm like, who sold you 30 M&P 40Cs? First of all, it's a weird caliber that they sold that many in 40 to you guys. And then he said the full sizes were law enforcement's main. And then he said those little compacts, which this is about, I don't know why they call it a compact. It's the exact same size as the subcompact. Everyone knows that Smith & Wesson's naming is really weird and off, and they're just now starting to correct it. But they do take the same exact holster, which is really nice. Same with the shields. The Shield Plus takes the same holster as the original shields and the 2.0s. So it's really nice having that compatibility, right? But the thing I like about the 40C is a lot of people hate 40, but I see a lot of value in power in 40. I also see versatility in 40. You can get away with carrying 40 in the woods using 200 grain hard cast rounds. This has a 3.5 inch barrel, so it shoots fairly fast and accurate. But what I like about it is the recoil. It handles 40 like a 9mm, and every person who's went out and bought one of these has said the same thing. Also, it's built like an older Smith & Wesson, so it's built like a tank, built to last. Like I said, this is a great truck gun. It's a great fall, winter carry option. I'm definitely carrying this winter. I carried this summer for a while. This thing handles recoil like an absolute beast. If you want a 40 that shoots like a 9 and is very concealable, this is your answer. It is a thick boy, but I absolutely love this thing. This, a beast of a handgun, and it does have a rail if you want to throw a light on there. Like I said, it has plenty of holster options because it takes the same holsters as the subcompact. But overall, ergonomics on point, feels really good in the hand. I'm just a smooth shooter. That heavy stainless steel slide really helps with the recoil. Gotta love it. Now here is the firearm that is hated by many, but shot by very few, simply because many people take online reviews as the end-all be-all. Me, I take it with a grain of salt. I watch them and I say, okay, maybe he got a lemon, or maybe he got one that he didn't like that much, or whatever the case may be. I go to the range and I rent one. And then I shoot this thing and I'm like, this is a beast. I can mag dump this thing, so I can get it from low ready to emptying 12 plus 1 in 2.5 seconds. Low ready, up, mag dump this. The trigger's a beast on it. No, it's not double action, single action. But at the same time, it is a great shooter. And yes, the trigger isn't like your average 1911, but it's still a really good, fast trigger. On top of that, the ergonomics are on point. I say this is the most ergonomic Micro 9 out there, the most comfortable. You also get extra backstrap options if you don't like this. I like the bigger one because it just fits your hand really well. That beaver tail is just perfect. And I'd say it has one of the lowest recoils out of every Micro 9. And this thing is small. Let's compare it to the Shield 40. I mean, look at how tiny this thing is. This thing really is a tiny, tiny firearm. So slide to slide, look at that. Beaver tail to beaver tail. And you're getting 12 plus 1. So, absolute beast of a firearm. Love my CSX. Great finish on it. Just a great shooter. I can't complain about great shooting firearms. I really can't. Smith & Wesson 642 Airweight. Bought this used for a great price. One thing I don't like is the rust on the bolt, but that's from pocket carry. It does happen. I can just get a new screw for it. It is what it is. But a pretty decent shooter. It has power even with that short barrel. But people just trust revolvers, love revolvers, especially if you're pocket carrying or carrying in a hoodie. And you do have to let it go through your hoodie. It's not going to malfunction with like a striker fired pistol or even some of these hammer fired pistols. They get caught up on stuff. The slide is going to go out of battery with some of these semi-automatic pistols if they get caught on something, not with a revolver. So that is a great plus, but you are lacking in capacity, being 5 rounds. Now, M&P Bodyguard. This is my pocket pistol from Smith & Wesson, and man, do I love it. Number one thing I love about it being a pocket pistol is that finish. The finish is unreal. You're not going to get the rust. You're not going to get anything like that on this. It's just going to go. I know some people have reliability issues with their Bodyguard. I do not. I know they're not a big fan of the 12 or 11 pound trigger pull. I'm not either. But for a pocket pistol, I can understand a heavier trigger pull. And actually, it's very, how can I say it? You know when that trigger is about to go. You know when it's going to break. Same with this revolver. The trigger is heavy and long, but it's very, you can guess when it's about to break. You can feel when it's going to break, and that's a great thing to have on a heavy trigger. But so far, no problems with my M&P Bodyguard. I do pocket carry this quite often in my Vetter pocket locker holster. Very small setup, you know, walking to the mailbox, taking the kids to the park, going on a bike ride, being active. You cannot beat something this small. Still having 7 rounds of 380, and with the right defensive ammo, you're going to be good. The thing about Smith & Wesson that I like so much is they give you so many different options. They got the 22 Magnums, they got the 10 millimeters, they have all these revolvers. They have so many great options. They have different calibers for a ton of their firearms, and they're made in the U.S. You're supporting a U.S.-made company. That's rare nowadays with all the Canics and stuff like that. But Smith & Wesson is making some great defensive firearms out there. Honestly, I can't complain about any of these. You know why? Because they all play a role. When my hands are messed up, work carry, everyday carry. I don't really carry this 40 shield anymore, but you could. Low recoil 40, low recoil 9mm with capacity, low recoil 40 with capacity, easy to conceal. Very low recoil, very fast shooting, great for everyday carry. Awesome pocket pistol, get off me gun, backup gun, can't beat that. Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, you know, deep concealment, easy to carry, light carry. They all play a role, and I honestly like them all. I can't complain about any of these. And on top of that, what makes it even better, they're all 100% reliable. But the one that really sticks out is their 40C. It just handles recoil. There's nothing better than a big bore or a bigger bore, larger round that handles recoil, especially with the defensive ammo they make nowadays. This is a gem, and on top of that, it's in stainless steel. So can you really beat that? Anyways, guys, I'll give you 10 seconds to look at this thing because I do think it's beautiful. I like to just hold it, look at it, you know, play with some snap caps through it because this thing is a gem of a handgun. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you made it this far in, that means a lot. Thank you.